I just realized I'm doing the Finally Fall book tag with Christmas stuff on my shelves. Well then. Oh well. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel, my book loving friends. My name's Christina, if you're new here, and today we're doing the Finally Fall book tag. Okay, so as you guys may notice, I'm already ready for Christmas, but the reason this is so late is all Jan's fault. I didn't actually really know about this tag until I saw Jan do it, and then when I saw Jan do it, she tagged me, so I was like, well, it sounds like a good time. Let's get into it. We're doing the Finally Fall book tag. Yes, it's like after Thanksgiving when I'm filming this, but it's fine. It's still technically fall because fall doesn't actually start until like the middle of December, so we're just gonna go ahead and go on with it. All right, let's just get into this because this is gonna take us a hot minute because it's gonna be a long video. It's gonna be a long video. Is that surprising? It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. No. All right, let's hop into it. So the first question is, name a book with a vivid setting. So I do have two books for this. The first book I chose was The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. This was also mentioned in Jan's video. I didn't really want to use it because she had already mentioned it, but honestly, there's no other book that I can possibly think of that matches this question more than The Nature of Witches. Even when I was watching Jan's video, this was the book I thought the minute I heard the question, so I just had to mention it. This book was so good. It was 5 out of 5. I loved it. It was just pure perfection. I loved it. It was very, very YA, very, very cheesy and corny, but I couldn't help but love it so much. I can't. There's witches. It's gorgeous. Also, it's just like, come on. Come on. Also, thank you, Anissa, for getting me this. I love it so much. It's just so perfect. Also, the cover is the most fall-looking cover I've ever seen in my life, okay? The other book I chose for this is actually a pretty recent read, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This book was great. It was fantastic. This book was extremely atmospheric. I loved it so much. The vibes that this book gave me were just so good, and it's just like, read it. Just read it, okay? Because the vibes in this book were chef's kiss. So good. Okay, so the second question is, name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a very heavy topic. And there is only one book that truly came to mind, and it's a book that I constantly think about. Grow by Tiffany D. Jackson. This book stuck with me. I read this book, I believe, back in like February, and I still think about this book so hard. This book put me in a slump, let me tell you. This book had me not reading for a good couple of weeks, okay? This book was extraordinarily done. Like, it was so good. It was so well done. This book will make you feel every single emotion physically possible. You get happy at times, you get frustrated at times, you're so angry for most of the book, not gonna lie. It's also extremely upsetting. I cried in this book. It was a very heavy book, and I read it in the span of 24 hours, and it was so good. And the third question is, name a nonfiction book. Sorry if I keep looking down, the questions are just on my laptop, and I don't have a good memory span, okay? Okay, I don't know if the angle changed, but my phone just stopped recording because I had to delete some stuff because I ran out of footage. So, oops. Okay, so let's get back into it. The third question is, name a nonfiction book that taught you something new. And I'm not a nonfiction reader. I haven't actually read that many nonfiction books, literally ever. But there's one nonfiction book that not only have I read and loved, I've actually reread this book. That book is very basic. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already heard of this because it's pretty big. But that book is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I'm gonna guess that. So I have read this book twice, 2.5, because I was in the middle of a reread and just put it down. Okay, sorry, my phone cut me off, so that's fun. Anyway, so we gotta do this fast because I'm running out of storage. So yeah, so this is a book that I read a couple of times, and the one thing I will say this taught me that it still sticks to this day is to create a routine. And not only that, but like once you have a routine in your head, to continue doing it and start something small and continue on with it, like just not to give up, honestly. So the one thing that I think I remember the most about this book was she talked about the fact that when you want to do something and you truly do want to succeed in it, you're going to fail, but all because you... Okay, I'm sorry if the angle changed. I just had to do a whole bunch of stuff to my phone because I ran out of storage. Shocker, y'all. I really gotta stop doing this whole phone thing. I hope this is okay now, because I swear to God, if this does this one more time. So yeah, this freaking book taught me to just not give up, stick to a routine, do what I love and love what you do. I'm over talking about this book because every time I pick this book up, for some apparent reason, my phone wants to stop recording. Oh, question number 4 is, name a fictional family, household / friend group you'd like to be a part of. This shouldn't surprise absolutely anyone. A Court of Silver Flames, obviously. Now, the specific friend group I would love to be a part of would be the Valkyries in here. If you guys have read this book, then you would know who the Valkyries are. But not only that, the Found Family in the ACOTAR series was just, it's so well crafted by Sarah J. Maas, and I would love to be a part of it. Like, the Found Family aspect of this book was just so good and so well done, in my opinion. In this book specifically, Nesta's Found Family was just my absolute favorite, and I will always be so happy about it. So it would obviously be A Court of Silver Flames. Any and every reason I can find to talk about this book, I will, because it's my favorite book of all time. All right, 5th question. Give us a pile of fall covered spines. All right, let's get it. Hold on. Here we go. I chose 5. So let's get into the books I chose. So first book I chose was The Poison Heart. I know for some people this probably isn't going to relay fall in any aspect, but for me, the spine in itself is gorgeous. All the colors are very like autumnal in my own head. This is my own pile, okay? Not yours. Don't judge. I just really want to read this because it's been on my shelf forever and I just need to get to it like immediately. The next book is Where Dreams Ascend by Janella Angeles. I just bought the second book to this duology and I haven't even read Where Dreams Ascend yet. Dreams Ascend, I think we all know that the reason I want to read this book primarily is because of Issa. Issa has been just like telling me that not only will this be a book I would love, but I'll be a book that I think this is going to be a book I would like actually devour. So I really want to read it soon. It is giving me kind of like Night Circus vibes. I don't really know if that's accurate or not, but that's just what I get from the cover. But like, look at the cover in itself. Gorgeous. Next book is a favorite. It's obviously a favorite. It's The Invisible Life of Betty LaRue, but it's the special one-year edition from Barnes & Noble that I'm obsessed with, okay? It's just gold, red. We all know what Addie's about. We all know why I love Addie anyway, so yay. The 4th book is actually a book I really want to get to this year, and I have absolutely no idea if I'll be able to do it, but I just really, really want to, and that is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This just seems like a book I would devour. Not only is it a fantastical book, it's a very long book. For some reason, I love long fantasy books. I don't know why, but I do. But there's also a fantastical romance in here, which is my absolute favorite thing ever, okay? It's just everything I love about everything I love to read. So I need to get this one immediately. And the last book was The Year of the Witching by Alexa Henderson. I started this book and then stopped it because it was just, I wasn't in like the physical reading mood, and I was physically reading it, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on during summer week, which is when I picked this up. But I need to get to this book, probably in 2022 is when I'll get to it, because once again, creepy, but I might end up possibly saving this. I don't know yet. We'll kind of just see what happens. And question number 6, share a book wherein someone is telling the story. Okay, so there was only really one book that I could possibly think of. The minute that I saw it, I just knew it was going to be this book, and that book is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Rogas. This book is so good. This book actually got me out of one of my reading slumps throughout the year. I tend to fall into a reading slump pretty hard a couple of times throughout the year. This was a book that actually got me out of it a couple of months ago, and I loved this book. Like, actually loved this book, okay? I heard about this book for the first time from Meg, from Meg with Books. She's great. I love her to death. But this book was just absolutely amazing. You follow so many amazing characters. The storytelling is so good. Like, it's actually very, very funny. If you guys can, the audiobook is really good too, just so you guys know. But I would highly recommend this book to so many people because it's a funny it's just a funny book. Like, it's just a very fun book. That's what it is. It's a very fun read that you kind of just can't help but laugh because of all like the comments. Because this book is actually told, like she's telling a story, but then like they'll kind of go off and like they'll break the third wall. And like let's say they said, oh, this and that, and then you'll have another character say, I never said that, and then the character writing it is like, well, you're not the one writing it, I'm still writing a book, I need to make sure it's interesting. And they do that all the time, and it's so good. And question number 7 is to share a dark, creepy read. And look, all right, I have 1 book that directly came into my mind, and then 2 that I kind of just had to mention just because they are what they are. So let's get into the first one. So the book that immediately came into my mind was another favorite of the year, and that is A Diary of Blood by S.D. Gibson. I loved this book. Okay, I think we all know this already. It's a very short read, but this book is good. Okay, it's very, I wouldn't say it's creepy nonetheless, but it is definitely a dark read, and I would highly recommend it because it's so good. Just pick it up, all right? Pick it up. Obviously, I'm doing a tag that Jan tagged me in, and this is Jan's favorite book of all time. Read it. Just read it. Just read it. Like, if you haven't read it yet, what are you doing? And the other 2 books I really wanted to mention were 2 Grady Hendrix books that I have read and absolutely adored, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism and Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I loved both these books. These books creeped me the creep out, all right? There were some scenes in here, okay? There is a very disturbing scene about an ear in this book that just like scarred me for life. And this book, the very ending of it was absolutely phenomenal. And question number 8 is to name a short, heartwarming book, and there is only 1 book that came to mind. Heartstopper by Alice Smith. I love this series. I devoured this series. And Heartstopper Volume 4, I don't think it's still available in the US, but I will be getting my hands on it very, very soon, and whenever the heck I do, I'll probably be rereading these 3. These books are just the most heartwarming books in the world. The word heart is in it because this book is so freaking good. Okay, question number 9 is to name an old favorite that you would like to return to. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to name 2 rereads I'm currently in the middle of. One of them is A Court of Silver Flames. I'm in the middle of rereading it. Yes, the tabs are absurd because it's my favorite book of all time. And the other one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because I'm obsessed. And I'm tabbing the heck out of this one too. But these 2 books are definitely probably my top 2 books of all time. And I'm rereading them because I'm just in the mood for it. So we have to. And another book I really wanted to mention is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Now, the reason I really want to reread this is because Our Violent Ends came out and I do have it. And I desperately want to read Our Violent Ends. But I do want to do a brief reread of These Violent Delights. I think I'll be listening to this audibly though. I did read this, I believe, back in January. I remember most of it, but I just kind of really want to be grasped into the story so I can fully get heart-wrecked by Our Violent Ends, and I'm very excited about it. Okay. We have one more, last and final. This is just a book that I read a couple of months ago and I need to reread. I listened to it audibly as well as like reading alongside the book, but the audiobook was so good. When I do reread it, it will be audibly, and that is At Your Age, Eve Brown. This is my favorite book of the Brown Sisters trilogy. It was so good, y'all. It was the funniest book. I don't think this might be the funniest audiobook I've ever listened to. I laughed my ass off listening to this book. It was so good. Like, it was so good. I loved every single second of it. I can't help but just want to get back into Eve Brown's head because she was someone that I wish was was actually a real life person, because I would become her best friend. Made it to the last question. Thank God, because I'm getting sick and tired of talking. And coming from me, that's a lot. So the 10th question is to share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Let's go get them. Ow! Okay, so there are 3 accessories that I pretty much always have when I am reading. And first things first is going to come to no surprise to absolutely anyone if you have been on this channel. A hot cozy drink. All right, this can be coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. I have been lately reading more at night, so lately it has been more hot chocolate and tea, but this morning I actually did have a cup of coffee, obviously because I'm me, as I was reading this new book I just started, and This is just like, I always need a hot drink next to me, and my favorite thing to do is go to a coffee shop and bring my book and read at a coffee shop. And also, I go to coffee shops by myself. I don't know if anyone else does this, but like, if I'm in a coffee shop, I don't want anyone to rush me. Like, I want to spend hours at a coffee shop because I need to be there for hours on end, because if not, then I'm not embracing the vibes of a coffee shop. The second accessory is a candle, but all the candles that I currently have in my house are being burned. So, and I don't want to, you know, burn myself. So a candle is definitely always an accessory that I always have on. I am a huge candle person. I have a candle in every single room of my apartment, and I live in a very small 1-bedroom apartment. So the bedroom has a candle, the living room has a candle, kitchen has a candle, and the bathroom has a candle, and they're all being lit right now. So that just shows my love of candles, okay? I love candles to death, and candles just kind of add that extra type of cozy vibe that I love to have when I'm reading a book. And the very last accessory is probably the one accessory that is probably going to be the most common out of everyone. That's my reading blanket. This is my reading blanket. This is my favorite blanket to read to. Any blanket works, but this is my specific reading blanket that I love reading with because it's just the softest one that I own. And it's huge. It's actually way taller than I am, like standing up. It goes way over my head. But I'm also a very short human being. I'm only 4'10", so that shouldn't say a lot. But yeah, a reading blanket, definitely. I love to be cozy, if you guys can't tell. I'm a very cozy type of atmospheric reader. It's just my thing. I kind of can't help but love it. Alright, so you guys made it to the end of the video. If you guys did like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys with some more videos coming soon. Bye.